Hi, everyone. Welcome back. So thank you for joining me today. My name is Terrace. I'm a consultant with BAASS. And today I'm going to share with you how to automatically distribute Sage Intelligence reports by using the Windows Task Scheduler alongside the distribution feature of Sage Intelligence. So what this does is to get our reports up and running at a set time or a given frequency, whether it's daily, weekly, or monthly. And more importantly, to have the reports automatically sent by email, saved to a local folder, or upload to an FTP site. Therefore, to save tons of time and efforts in our daily life. Okay, so now let's get started. So this is our agenda for today. We'll start with taking an overview on Sage Intelligence, and then we'll give an introduction on report distribution. And then we will take a look at how the process of how distribution works and give an introduction on scheduling. And then we'll go into demonstration on how to set the automatic distribution and in scheduling up. Okay. And then in the end, we'll have an Q&A session for any questions. Now let's get this started. So for those of you who are not familiar with Sage Intelligence is an Excel-based reporting tool that connects to our Sage ERP system. And for most of us, that would be Sage 300. So Sage Intelligence connects to the database of our Sage ERP or accounting system. And whether you have just one single entity or multiple entities, we can consolidate data from our databases and then have reports run out to Microsoft Excel, which is, we all know, probably the most well-used business analytics software globally. And in Excel, we can view or analyze your information from a financial and operational standpoint to help us make faster and more informed business decisions. And we can also create Sage Intelligence reports from other sources, such as another SQL database, an Access database, or maybe if you're using Sage CRM, then you can actually make connection and pull data that's outside of your Sage ERP and accounting system, which is quite powerful for Sage Intelligence. Sage Intelligence have some ready-to-use reports that are viewed by Sage. We can download those reports, make some edits to tailor the reports to our business needs, or we can create our own reports from scratch and design the reports in Excel the way we would like. Another great feature that Sage Intelligence has is its report designer add-in. It's an Excel add-in that allows us to create and edit in-depth financial statements using a very user-friendly graphical drag and drop interface. With this Excel add-in, we can work with account balances, and if we have any questions, we can easily drill through the transaction tables to view the details. If you're interested in learning more about how to use this report designer to add value to your financial statements, we do have 2 sessions after this with James and we will go into details on how to create financial statements in Sage Intelligence. Now let's take a look at the distribution feature of Sage Intelligence. And to give an overview on the distribution feature of Sage Intelligence, what it does is it automates report delivery and distribution to improve workflow and speed up business process. So for example, if we want to email a report to our colleague, Instead of having to save the Excel workbook, create a new email, attach the file, we can have all of this set up and completed in Sage Intelligence. Or if you run a report on a frequent basis, we can have the distribution instructions set up with the report template. And together with the Windows Task Scheduler, Sage Intelligence will automatically run the reports based on the schedule and instructions and distribute the reports as we preset. So by using this distribution feature, we can save the reports to a folder, upload it to an FTP site, or have the reports emailed. And the reports can be in various formats. They can be Excel workbook, PDF, or HTML web page. So the distribution feature is pretty ideal when we want to send reports, for example, to department managers, and we only want to send part of the information from the report that's related to their department. Then we can have this instruction set up so that it only sends the worksheet that contains their department information. Now let's take a look at the distribution process. We would start with distribution settings. This is where it asks us, do we want to use our own Outlook, or do we want to use an Exchange server or SMTP site? And then we would fill out the detailed information here. And the next, we would go into manage distribution instructions. For each instruction, we would choose how we would like to distribute the report. We can choose email, we can choose file publish, we can choose an FTP site, and then we would fill in the details such as the recipient of the email, the file name, and we can choose the file type, the format if we want it to be in Excel, PDF, or HTML. We also get to choose if we would like to send the reports as in static values, which means they would be sent without the underlying data. Then after setting up the distribution instructions, we can then choose for each distribution which instructions we would like Sage Intelligence to follow. So we would have multiple instructions saved. However, for the distribution we are going to proceed, we'll need to select which instructions we would like to use. And then Sage Intelligence will know what instruction to follow. And then in the end, by hitting the Send Now button, the reports will be distributed based on the selected instructions, whether it's saving to a folder or by email. Now let's take a look at how to set this up in Sage Intelligence. So I'm in my report manager, and I have this demo financial reports created for my demonstration. So I'll just run this report out. Run this report out. I'm gonna choose 2020. So Sage Intelligence, what this is doing is fetching data from our Sage 300 databases, bringing a copy of the relevant data, and save that into our Excel workbook. Save that into our Excel template to create an Excel workbook. So it's gonna take, yeah, depending on how big our data size is, sometimes it's gonna take a little bit of time. I think my report here is almost done. Just a few more moments. Okay. So as you can see, this is a pretty typical, a simplified financial statement set. So I have my balance sheet, I have my income statement, and then I have the income statement for the commercial division, and then I have the income statement for the retail division. So what I like to do is to have a distribution set up so that so that I can send the income statement for commercial manager for the commercial sector to the commercial manager, and then send the retail one to the retail manager. And also I like to save a copy of this workbook for record keeping purpose for the accounting department. Okay, so to set this up, I would come to BI tools, and you see there is a section called distribution. So to set everything from scratch, we would always go from right to left. So the first step is distribution setting, just to select how we would like our email to send, and I'll keep that as leave that as Outlook profile. And just to be aware, if we select that, we need to make sure that we have our Outlook up and running on our computer when the report distribution is scheduled. Okay, just go OK. And next would be manage distribution instructions. Because what I'll do is I'll set up one instruction for each recipient. So I'll set one up for commercial, set one up for retail, and set one up for the accounting department. And I'll start with setting the instruction for sending the email to the commercial manager. So what I'll do is I can add statement commercial. I just call this income statement commercial and just go OK. And you see we can choose. Here's where we choose how we would like the report to be distributed. And because I would like to send this by email, and check enable email. Okay. And then here would be, I'll put the recipient. So I set up your 2 dummy emails for me to distribute my reports to. I'll just copy this one for commercial manager. Okay. I'll paste this, and I'll just say income statement for commercial division. I'll just say hi commercial. For the body of the email, say hi commercial manager, please find attached income statement for commercial division, and the file name, the income statement for commercial division. Now, one thing to note is on this email section, we can actually insert cell reference so that we can have our setup to be dynamic, so that my information here can change when the information on my report change. So to add that, I can just come here and insert cell reference. And I can choose a cell, insert cell reference, and I'll choose the year, add a dash, and insert cell reference, period. And I like to do the same thing for the body of my email. Copy that over, and this one as well. Okay. So just to take a look how my email is going to look like, I can click on preview cell references, and you see it's bringing information from my report so that it's dynamic. And next month in fiscal period 5, when I run the report, this will be updated automatically to 2020 period 5, so that we don't need to keep changing that. Okay. And here we get to choose the format of my workbook. And because I don't want to send out my my detailed data, I'll just choose PDF. And you can see that for PDF, it's mandatory, it's defaulted to convert each worksheet to static values and distribute each worksheet as separate documents. So these are grayed out. We won't be able to choose that. So okay. Okay. So I will now add the distribution for the retail manager. I'll go a little bit faster here because this would be pretty much the same for with the commercial manager. I'm here and get my retail manager's email address. Oops, didn't get copied over. And come back here. And I'll insert cell reference here as well. And for the body of my email, just say hi, retail manager. And for my file name, I'll call this income statement for retail division. And if I preview cell reference, this is how my email is going to look like. And once again, for the format, I'm going to choose PDF, and everything else looks good to me. So I'll just go OK. Next I'll do is to create the instruction for saving the workbook to our local drive. So I'll just do financial reports. So our accounting department. So OK. And here I would need to choose file publish because I'm saving this to my local computer. So I tick enable file publish off and on a browse. So choose OneDrive and just go OK. And for the file name, I'll just call this financial statement. And I'll leave this as Excel workbook. And I don't want the my worksheet to convert to static values. I'll check that off. I'll just go OK. So the next step would be select instructions. So if I open that, so this is to apply the instructions to our report and to choose the relevant instructions we need. So I'll choose all of them. And I get to choose what worksheets to include. So for my commercial manager, I'll just choose commercial, and for my retail manager, I'll just choose retail. Now here's the box that's for us to tick off if we are having this on automatic schedule for when we use scheduler command. For now, we don't need to check this off, but later on we'll come back and check that. Just go OK. So now what we'll need to do is just to click on send now, and it should distribute our reports based on our instructions. So it looks like it's distributing. So it's gonna take a little bit of time for everything to be distributed. I think it's completed. Now let's take a look. OneDrive. Okay. So now so this is the financial statements we just saved by distribution. If I open that, it's going to open the workbook for us. Okay, so this is the financial statements. That's the one we just saved to our local file folder. And now if we go to the email, we just refresh that. So this is the email we just sent to the commercial manager, and this will be the email we just sent to the retail manager. I'm just gonna open one. So you see it is sent by PDF, and it's just one tab that got transferred. Okay. So one thing to be aware is once we have this instruction set up and selected, and then save that to our report template, we won't need to come back and set this up every single time. So next time when we have the report run out, we can just simply press the Send Now button, and then the reports can be delivered based on the instruction. Okay, I'm gonna save that to my template, but before I do that, because I'm going to demonstrate scheduling, so I'll just pick that off, pick this automatic scheduling off for my instruction. Okay, I'm just gonna come back to my report designer and save its template. Okay, while it's saving, let's take a quick look on scheduling. So once we have the instructions saved to our template, we don't need to come back every single time, but we would still need to run the report and press the Send Now button. Now, if we have the scheduling set up, we can have the whole process set automated. Okay, just as a quick overview, we would set this up with the scheduler command feature in Sage Intelligence, and then have that saved in Microsoft Windows Task Scheduler so that the reports will be run automatically every single time. And let's take a look on how to set this up. Okay. So now that my template gets saved, I'll just go OK. And next I'll do is I go to Tools, and here's the scheduler command. So this is where I create the command line for my scheduling. And here I can put the parameter for my report, and I can choose to put system variables such as @year to represent my current year, and this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go OK, and it says the command line has been saved, has been copied to my clipboard. OK, and this is just say that I didn't set up the output file location for my report, and that's fine. This is just a reminder. So I'll just go OK. Now I'll go to my task scheduler. I have a folder set up for intelligence reporting, and to set this up, I would create a new task. And for the name, I can just say distribution of financial reports SI. And the trigger is when we would like the report to be triggered to run. So here I will just go new, just to add a new trigger here. And I can choose one time, I can choose daily, or I can choose weekly. So I can, for example, I can set this up as monthly. I can, but for now, we'll just leave that as one time. And action here is where we would paste the command line we just copied. I'll just go Control V to copy the script, and just go OK. This is just to confirm that we have copied the command line. Yes. And just go OK. Now that's how we set up the scheduling. And then next time when the trigger for next time, let me just go back to the properties. So here the trigger would be 11. Oh, I didn't. Here, if we had this set up to, for example, 11:37, and this is where we would this is when the system would know to run the report for us. Okay, so that's pretty much about it for our demonstration today. Sorry, I went a little bit over time. I don't know if we have any questions that we need to look at.
I do have a question here. So if I want to take a look at my reports before they get distributed, can I do that?
So for this one, you can have your process set up so that you can have what you can do with in this situation, because sometimes we want to make sure our report is actually looking good before we send that out. So for that, what we can do is we can have two schedules set up. We can have one schedule to send the reports to us or save that to your folder. For example, one day before the actual distribution, so that we can take a look, and then the second schedule, then we will set up for the actual distribution to our colleagues, so that we can do a little bit quality control on our reports. That's a good question. Okay, any other questions?
Since we are a little over time, we're just going to cut to our break until 2:50, which will take us to our next session, Sage Intelligence Financial Reporting Training, which will be on this track, or Advanced Analytics by DataSelf, Deployment and Customizations on track 2. Thank you for presenting, Terrace.
Thank you, Remington.